From Public Radio International, this is The World. A co-production of the BBC World Service, PRI, and WGBH Boston. It's Wednesday, May 26th. I'm Marco Werman. Today, what does North Korea want? Maybe the guy who runs a barbecue shack in Hackensack knows. And an Afghan tribal chief wants to work with insurgents. He's put his own money into what some think is a lost cause, but he has his reasons.
Same thing like John F. Kennedy said, is that don't ask what your country can do for you, what you can do for your country. And the same lines I'm using, and I'm doing that for my people and for my country.
Also, we'll listen to what happens when an Irish band records in Nashville. First up, this news.
BBC News with Gaynor Howells. The oil company BP says it started a critical attempt to plug the damaged well that's been leaking huge amounts of oil into the Gulf of Mexico. From Louisiana, here's Rajesh Mishandani.
More than 5 weeks since the rig explosion that killed 11 people and caused the leak, BP is beginning its latest attempt to plug the well. The so-called top kill method involves shooting large amounts of dense fluid called drilling mud into the well. The hope is that the pressure of the mud will be greater than that of the escaping oil and slow or stop the leak. Then cement will be pumped in on top to seal off the well for good. BP says chances of success are 60 to 70%.
Earlier, BP acknowledged that there'd been a whole series of failures before the explosion that caused the massive spill. Two leading congressmen have meanwhile said BP documents indicate the accident was preceded by several warning signs, but action appears to have been taken too late. They said in their report this leads to questions over whether proper procedures were followed. The Jamaican Prime Minister, Bruce Golding, says there'll be an independent investigation into the deaths of at least 44 people in the capital, Kingston. They were killed in battles between civilians and security forces searching for Christopher Judas Koch, an alleged drug lord wanted in the US. Nick Davis is in Kingston.
After conflicting reports over the number of dead, an independent assessment was requested by the country's Prime Minister. Supported by members of the security forces, the public defender and the political ombudsman met with people living in parts of Tivoli considered safe. Residents who haven't been allowed out of their homes since the operation began on Monday say they're running low on food, water and medications. Meanwhile, the search continues for Christopher Judas Koch and sporadic gunfire can still be heard.
For the first time in its history, the International Criminal Court is to ask the UN Security Council to take action against a member country for failing to implement arrest warrants against its citizens. The ICC has formally told the Council that Sudan is protecting two suspected Darfur war criminals, a former minister who allegedly armed militiamen and one of the most senior militia leaders. An advisor to the ICC prosecutor, Beatrice Lefrappeur, said the Sudanese government had been given ample opportunity to hand over the two men.
It is 3 years of non-compliance. And the judges of the ICC and the prosecutor of the ICC have been telling the Security Council for now more than 1 year that if nothing happened, this was the measure that we were considering. We have exhausted all the means at our disposal.
The European Union has unveiled proposals for a new tax on banks to ensure the taxpayer won't be footing the bill from future banking collapses. It says it's based on the principle of making the polluter pay and means banks would have to put aside money. World News from the BBC. Scientists have warned that the global supply of wheat could be under threat from a new strain of fungus which can destroy an entire harvest. Known as UG99, the wind-borne fungus was discovered 10 years ago in East Africa and can travel at great speed. Scientists at a conference in Russia say this can make it difficult to control. Wheat is one of the chief sources of food worldwide, providing around 20% of the calories consumed globally every year. The fungus is already endemic in Kenya. The body representing Roman Catholic bishops in Italy has, for the first time, put a figure on the number of cases of paedophile priests